So we are starting off this Pennywise inspired clown look by applying a bald cap, and I'm actually using a hair tie to secure it down in the back with my actual hair, and then I will go in with a prosthetic adhesive to secure it in the front. You can also use spirit gum or another skin safe adhesive. I, however, hate spirit gum and have had no success with it, so I just use prosthetic adhesive, which is like similar to kind of like wig glue, and how you use it is that you put down a thin layer, you let it dry, or you dry it off, and then you put down like another layer, and then you let that dry, and then you press your prosthetic on, and then it should stay. I do this all over my forehead, and just I tack it down near my ears. You'll see in the next little clip me doing that to one side. However, this was a very lengthy process, so I am not showing, it's obviously sped up, but I am not showing you the entire process either. I only show you the front of my forehead as well as just one side of my ear, just to show you a quick and simple way of how you can tack down a bald cap. My Pennywise inspired look did not turn out the way I had intended it to look, which is why I say inspired. It just, I don't know, for some reason I thought it was going to be very easy, and then it wasn't, and it just became a lot more involved, and so it still came out as a terrifying clown though, and I think I generated my own fear of clowns after doing this look. So after you tack down your bald cap and you get it nice and secure, you're going to go in with some liquid latex, and you're going to go around the edge of your bald cap. I'm using some thicker bald caps, so this is like a very much needed step. If you're using a much thinner bald cap, or you make your own, you can use some acetone to create like a nice clean seamless edge. However, my bald caps are not of a very wonderful quality. I just got them at the costume store. If you are using this liquid latex technique to get a like seamless finish in the front, make sure you kind of feather out the edges and do anywhere from like 3 to 4 layers of the latex, so that you get a nice kind of, again, seamless finish from your skin to your actual bald cap. Again, did not show you the entire process, but showed you just the simple steps that I took. After I did my liquid latex and securing the bald cap, I started to paint myself white. Pennywise, as well as other clowns just in general, are all white. Here's where I'm going to start my shout out to clowns. It is not as easy to create a clown look as I had anticipated. I don't know why I thought it was going to be so easy, but shout out to clowns. Clown makeup is not as easy as it seems. I'm using a water-activated face paint. As we all know, this is not my most favorite medium to work in. I'm using the Snazaroo white face paint. It applied to the bald cap very, very nicely. However, to my skin, it just was very, very streaky, and I just had a hard time getting it to like the nice, opaque, non-streakiness that I really wanted. If I had to do this over again, which I might in the future, who knows, I would use a cream white paint rather than like a water-activated face paint. I let it dry for a little bit. I did do a couple of layers to try and minimize the brush strokes. I don't know if maybe using a sponge would have been better. Again, I'm still very much playing with water-activated face paint. If anybody has any tips and tricks for using them, please leave comments in the comment section below. I would love to know other people's abilities. I do powder it to set it a little bit, which I don't know if that was a mistake or not. I just thought that it would like secure it a little bit more, and to try to minimize the brush strokes. Brush off the excess. Moving on to the actual eye look. So I just took some black eyeliner and did my waterline as well as my upper and lower lash lines, and I smudged it out with a small angled brush just to give it a little bit of a feathered out look. a kind of a messy look. Pennywise isn't necessarily the most tailored looking clown, so I didn't feel like I needed to be too precise, but the liner that I was using, if you don't smudge it out, it does have a tendency to transfer. So that was the reason that I smudged it out. To the actual eye look itself, I used a black cream liner to create the lines that go underneath his eyes, and then I used a blue cream paint for the blue triangles on his eyelids, and then I heavily set those with a translucent powder, as well as I went in with some blue eyeshadow. You'll see me doing the one side right now, and I'll show you the other side in full. They're the Wet n Wild face paints, and if you don't set them heavily, then they will kind of smudge and go everywhere. But I like them because when you set them correctly on the eyelid, they don't crease and they don't go anywhere, which is why I use them for the triangles. Next, I went in with a little bit of mascara. I don't think this is actually necessary, but my eyelashes were extremely white from the face paint. And then I went in and did his eyebrows, and I think this is where the whole look got away from me. I think we were doing really, really well up until this point. The 3 to 5 reference photos that I had for my Pennywise looks, he has different eyebrows in all of them. In one of them, he has these 1920s squiggly eyebrows, not squiggly, but they curve a lot. In another one, he has 2 huge arches. And they're very high up on his face, Tim Curry's face. So I initially did them, and while I was looking in the mirror, they didn't look right. On camera, upon rewatching, they actually looked just fine. I should have just left them, but I didn't. I makeup removed the front of them, refilled in the white, and tried to redraw them in. And it wasn't the look. And if I've learned anything from my Cruella de Vil and my Ursula looks, it's the eyebrows that really make or break a look. And these eyebrows, I feel like just really broke the look, if I had to be honest. I mean, c'est la vie, I guess. Next, I moved on to the lips. I used a red lip liner to create the actual outline of his lips. He kind of has this very slight droop to the side of his lips. And then he just has red lips. They're not really any kind of shape or form, but he does have those 2 very distinct downward angles, if you will. After lips, I went to apply my hair, and I created this wig. I bought a blonde wig and I dyed it red, and then the red wasn't actually red enough, so then I ended up spraying it with some hairspray red, colored hairspray red, and then I teased it and I cut it down the middle to fit around my head because clown wigs are expensive. So I created my own, which I think it turned out pretty decent in terms of the coloring and the way it looks. To adhere it to my head, I used some weft glue, some glue, wig making glue. My problem is that I've never used it before, so I didn't exactly know what the best way to use it, and the UPC sticker was over the instructions. You should try to dry it down a little bit and make it a little tacky before you just move on. It did work, and I would suggest this a way of adhering a wig or a clown wig to a bald cap. It was just a little messy, and I should have worked a little bit slower, and I should have been a little bit more diligent with where I was placing the glue. But it did work, and I highly suggest it, mainly because prosthetic adhesive and spirit gum are a little tricky to work with hair, so I think the weft glue was just fine. I did have to tease it a little bit more, which was fine, and I pinned it in a few different places just so that it would be where I needed it. After I got my wig into place, I painted my neck white, and I actually should have probably done a second coat, but I was eager to kind of wrap up the look. This took a lot longer than I had anticipated it. but I painted my neck, and then I just like created this little like clown collar out of a t-shirt. I don't own a clown costume, and I went to the costume store to see if I could get like just the collar part or like a clown costume really cheap. They are expensive. Clown costumes are very expensive. So you'll just have to deal with me having like this little t-shirt collar as a stand-in. But then I added my red nose, which is not the nose that is a Pennywise nose. It's just a red foam clown nose that I picked up, I think last Halloween. But it does okay in a pinch. To create the evil Pennywise look, I used some denture glue, and I denture glued some stiletto nails to my actual teeth. Denture glue is safe for your mouth and to use like orally. Don't just be like super gluing or hot gluing nails to your teeth. Again, teeth are expensive, and so I was trying to kind of DIY my way into this. And I think for, you know, not having a lot of money to spend on the evil part of this look, I think they worked out just fine. You could also glue these teeth to like a retainer and then wear that. That would also work. But after I glued denture glued all my teeth in, which they're not very secure, I used some tooth coloring, special effects teeth coloring, in a nicotine color to make them kind of like goldish, rotten looking. And I probably should have painted them before I actually glued them on. But again, this was my first time kind of like using that special effects tooth coloring. So you live and learn. Then I put in my demon contacts, which really freaked me out, and I had to turn my mirror away and turn off my monitor because honestly, I can't look at myself when I have these contacts in. This whole look was just really scary for me. I've never seen it. I probably never will because I'm not a scary movie person. But anyways, this is the look. This is how it turned out. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I have my thoughts on it. You let me know what you think. I will list all of the products that I used in the description box below so you can check them out on your own time. If you enjoyed this video or you found it funny, please give it a big old thumbs up. As always, please be sure to subscribe and hit the little notification bell. I would hate for you to miss out on any more videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys.